Good morning, good day, friends. I hope you're doing really well. And I want to speak to the idea of hunger and how hunger can honestly feel really scary for people in recovery because there's a lot of associations and experiences just overcoupled with what hunger could mean. And it's not always about food, sometimes it is. But I just want to speak to that because I think that if we can get settled in our belief system that hunger isn't the threat, then what we're going to find is a lot more ease around food, and that's what we're all doing any of this for, right? That's one of the reasons, at least. So I want to speak to the different reasons first that I guess we have hunger, and just kind of go from there to be able to just bring, I want to just bring some compassion and some practical kind of information here to those of you who are struggling with like hunger, a fear of hunger, avoidance of hunger, and how that actually creates this pretty vicious cycle for folks. All right, so obviously we have hunger. It's built into the mechanisms of how our body works on autopilot to alert us that we need fuel, right? And so we meet our fuel needs all kinds of ways. Sometimes food is just food. Sometimes it's really joyful and pleasurable. Sometimes it's a little strategic, but hunger alerts us that we need something, right? And so the only fix for the hunger issue is eating. You can try and do all the hacks and bypassing, and I won't even mention those things that people do and have done to try to be in a little more deny and dissociation that the body has needs, but there's lots of ways out there. But let's talk about different kinds of hunger. There is legit like biologic hunger. I need to eat, and it can be mild to really, really strong depending on how long it's been since you last ate. And this is the thing that I know that people who have been restricting any significant amount of time, let's say more than like 3 months plus to like decades, is that the body's body tissues and all the systems and cells are just starving. And so when you start eating again, it's gonna feel scary a little bit because it can feel a little bit like if I start eating, I'll never stop. The body doesn't have any agenda against you like that. This has more to do with just the deprivation. So that's one of the reasons why people avoid taking next steps in a recovery, or they'll only go so far because they're really scared of the bigness of the hunger. But that has to do with beliefs and not to do with the body, because the body is just going to try to get you back to equilibrium. So that might mean more food for a while, maybe a good long while, a year or so. But there's always a place where stabilization, equilibrium wants to happen because your body is not against you. Okay, it's not some entity trying to get you or anything. But a lot of this has to do with the fear of eating more food, which would mean gaining weight, which might mean all the beliefs you have about weight gain, whether it's not lovable, not significant, won't belong, whatever wounds we've got that we need to deal with. Because if those wounds aren't dealt with, the reality is it's going to be hard to maintain stability with food long-term enough to get to nutrition rehabilitation, and to be healed in that part of your relationship with food journey. That part of it has to happen. Like, we have to get back to repletion. And most people aren't scared about the idea of repletion. They're scared of the sensations and feelings and the beliefs they've got to face to get there. So a lot of this work is going to be around your healing blockers, I call them. What are your healing blockers? Just afraid of feelings, afraid of the sensations, afraid of what it's going to mean about you, afraid of what you might lose. And so we have to get in there. Is any of this stuff true? And if it is, then what, right? Other kinds of hunger, we know we talk as much about the physiologic needs, but then people have needs for care. And oftentimes, hunger has a lot of meaning. It could mean that, like, if I get certain kinds of hunger, I spend lots of time in a lot of aloneness or relational or emotional deprivation, or, the list can go on and on of what's overcoupled, what experiences are overcoupled with that body's sensation of hunger. It's varied, right? So that could be what's happening too. I know sometimes when there are some metabolic issues, it can feel like there's just a really strong lack of satisfaction. And so there's going to be some need to be tweaking, I would call it meal mix, a little bit to give your body a little bit more time to get the glucose in your cells and other, basically if your body is not pulling, if there's some insulin resistance going on, if your body is not pulling in the glucose it needs, it kind of has a wanting for more, even if there's adequate fuel on board. So that can happen as well. And again, that's something that can be ameliorated with just some basically nutrition interventions. We'll just put it that way. All right. And also if you need medication or if you're going to need some supplements to help balance some of that stuff out, that can be healed pretty quickly. But the other stuff still might be in play as well. So what I see happen for people who avoid their hunger, who they get hungry and part of them's like, I can't be this hungry because if I don't save my food for later, I'm still going to want to eat as much as I want to eat later. And then I can't. So then I got to restrict now. And all that does is, one, set up another reinforcement that your needs can't get met. It sets up, biologic pressure that, you're going to have to eat a little bit more amount of food that feel the grabbiness and intensity that might occur. I know can feel overwhelming for people, and it's strictly because of not enough food in the first half of the day or not enough mental permission or whatever's going on. So there are just a lot of factors. So if you're watching this and you have fear of hunger, start to look at your energy balance. If you're not eating enough fuel that is going to help you with getting back to nutrition, rehabilitation, equilibrium, this does not matter how much you weigh. It is what it is. Your body needs what it needs regardless of your size. And if you're restricting that, especially based on some kind of belief that, you should need more fuel, again, start to do some questions with that. Well, what would it mean if I needed more fuel with the body I have? And get yourself to that end place, that intolerable conflict, okay? If you want food to feel less like a deal, like a thing in the end of the day, then the most important thing you can do is eat more food during the first half of the day, for sure. And eat satisfying meals and not just graze and pick as if it's not happening, but actually learn how to sit and to settle and to eat and all those kind of things. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to help you feel. I know for me, two things I noticed when I allowed myself finally to eat with full permission and eat how much I needed, regardless of my thoughts and feelings about it. Because I still had work to do there in the body image and belonging and lovability route, is that I could see that these episodes of feeling, it wasn't quite out of control, but it had that flavor to it of feeling a little out of control. Like I didn't fully have a say over how much I ate or didn't eat. It always went along with how well I nourished myself during the day. So I started to know that was really, really important. And also the balance in which I ate. So if I tried to eat no carbs all day long, what do you think I ate at night? Because again, body needs easy energy. I know some people don't agree with that, but I just noticed people, their cognition is much better when carbs are in their life, and immune systems as well. And I guess that's the main one, is when I recognize that feeling of out of controlness went away very, very quickly when I started giving myself more permission to eat. The little rattly food thoughts, and I guess I know now the popular term is food noise. Food noise can go away if you're eating adequately, if you are dismantling your fat phobia, if you are getting full permission to eat and learning how to eat in a way that's best suits your body, and if you are healing those intolerable root beliefs about yourself and your identity. Seriously, if you have this idea that if you don't perform or if you don't do this or that or the other, or if you're not like this, that, or the other, then you're not lovable. It ends up showing up in all areas around your food and your health behaviors and your movement and how you dress yourself and what you do. Because if you're not lovable, like, why would you take care of yourself? Why would you pursue things that are maybe yours to do in this life? You're not. You're going to be focused on trying to get something external accurate or correct or good, so that you don't have to feel the intolerable feelings. And that's kind of what it boils down to. So let's work on the energy deficits, y'all. Let's work on, if there's any tweaks you need to do with nutrition, great, do that. But it's especially important about like having permission to eat and having permission to eat enough. If we can get there, you're going to make a whole lot more progress. So thank you so much for watching this video. And again, I'll also say that, like, I know some people struggle with like knowing when enough is enough. We can do another fullness video. I'll actually do that for y'all next week. So if we're going to talk about hunger, we'll also talk about fullness, and we'll do that in a following video. So take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.